Welcome to the introductory session for Pause by Kensho Education. The purpose of this video is to set the tone and expectations for anyone who has already enrolled in one of our courses or anyone who is interested in enrolling in one of our courses. My name's Anthony, and I'm going to be going through slides on my iPad here. But that's not typical of the experience that you would have in one of our programs because it's very participatory and everyone in the room is offering contributions to the material as we go through it. But I'm going to talk through these slides so we can get a lot of the introductory content out of the way. And then on day one, when you show up for your first course, we can jump right into the material. So we don't have to spend time going through this stuff. It's very high-level information. So Pause is a professional development program that has 5 learning modules to help you to understand yourself, your company, your peers, your boss or bosses, and to give you a framework that helps you to manage those relationships or improve them and transform the employer-employee relationship. And the real purpose of the program is to take your work life off of autopilot. We'll talk more about what autopilot means in the course, but basically we want to provide a sense of awakening or taking the red pill so you can have more awareness in your day-to-day work experience. The first thing we want to point out is that you are here and this material is in front of you. You've been chosen somehow. Someone might have said, hey, you should check this out. Or your boss might have said, you need to check this out, so we're going to pay for you to go to this program. Or you might have discovered it in a search for self-improvement, which is awesome. Or you might have randomly stumbled on it, but here you are. And if you are searching for that kind of professional development, I'd say that puts you in a pretty elite class of working professionals. As a manager myself, I have met a lot of people and managed a lot of people that just come to work, they do their thing, and then they go home. But there are people who really take their work life very seriously, and they look for a lot of personal value and engagement in their job. So for you to be in this program and to be an active participant is really cool, and it puts you in the upper echelon of people looking to succeed. This program is meant to help you with your professional life. So we are focusing strictly on work. There may be overlap in some of these concepts for things happening in your personal life, as several of us have experienced. But really, the point of the program is to help you with your day-to-day working experience. It's important to note that there aren't teachers at Kensho Education. We call ourselves facilitators because we are participating in this program just as much as anybody else enrolled in it. And just because we've put the content together doesn't make us experts, it doesn't make us masters or anything like that. We're just a little further along down the road with respect to this material. But I can personally attest that this content is super potent. It is the result of this material from lots of sources changing my own life. And people who've gone through our pilot program have also testified that this program has changed my life. I think 3 people specifically use that phrase. My life is different after going through this program. And we think that's really important. So what we consider our job as facilitators to be connecting you with the material. And we're going through the material just like you are when you're in the room with us going through a session. There's no people like above us developing this curriculum. What we do is we look for very well accepted content and very scientifically backed content to substantiate what we're after. So there's not a lot of wishy-washy, nonsensical stuff. It's really grounded in science and in proven content that has been very successful in the business world. Pause offers a framework to help you to succeed in your professional everyday experience. You might have read Crucial Conversations, and then you read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, but no one's ever really putting that content together for you and saying, the ideas from this book relate to the ideas in this book in these ways. So what we are trying to do is give you a framework based on a pretty well-rounded set of materials, and we are connecting the overlapping material and presenting that to you so that you have a way of altering your worldview to make good decisions, to evaluate your business context, to improve your relationships, and to improve your overall chances of succeeding in your career. And we think that's really important. We see it as a gap in the professional world. There are people teaching like very technical, hard skills, and then there are people teaching, they're focusing exclusively on meditation at work and mindfulness and those kinds of things. And that's awesome. Like, both sides are awesome, but we want to be somewhere in the middle. We want to take a lot of this material and say, if you put this stuff together in this way, then it can really be powerful for you. So we've developed this content over 2 years. It's largely based on well-established, successful books and programs and assessments. So there's no funny business. All we're doing is wrapping it up into a framework and delivering it to you through this program. A little bit about Kensho Education. It's a company run by myself and my business partner, Alan Plunkett. And we started in January 2015. We're based in Phoenix, Arizona. We have had help from other business professionals in developing this content and curriculum developers. And we've had professional trainer go through the material as well and help us to ensure that it's sound and reasonable. And now it's myself and Alan hosting and delivering this experience for people. And we're super excited about getting this material out to people. We did a 5 or 6 month test, like a beta program. We called it the pilot cohort, and we found that the program really can be successful for a lot of people. So we're just getting started, as I'm recording this video. But Kensho is a Japanese term from the Zen tradition that basically means that epiphany moment. We're after like a moment of initial insight that requires further deepening or further investigation. And Pause is the first program that we're offering, designed to take your work life off of autopilot. As you may have experienced, other people can create calendar events, and you're constantly getting emails and app notifications and phone calls and all of these things that interrupt your day. And they prevent you from having control over your day-to-day work experience. So Pause is this idea that we should just stop what we're doing for a little bit, take a pause, and assess what's actually happening. What's happening inside of us, and what are the things happening outside of us that are affecting us and our success and the way we manage stress and the way we learn. So Pause is really like scratching the surface of the potential of self-awareness in the workplace. It's our first cohort program. And at the end of Pause, we want you to understand your place in your company. We want you to understand why your relationships are the way that they are, and how you can change them to make them better for yourself and for the people on the other end of the relationship. This is a program focused on you. It's on your development. Now, the module names are like Know Yourself, Know Your Company, Know Your Peers, Know Your Bosses. But really what we're after is know how you understand those things. So you're not going to suddenly have deep insight into the way the minds of your coworkers are. What you will have is deep insight into the way you think that your coworkers operate. into the way that you perceive your boss to be operating. So this is really about you. This whole program is focused on you, your growth, and we really think that, you can't change anybody else. All you can do is change yourself. So what we want to do is give you a more objective set of insights about yourself so that you can grow. One key concept for that growth is called beginner's mind. And beginner's mind comes from a Zen concept called Shoshin, and it means openness or eagerness and a lack of preconceptions at all levels of experience or education. So no matter what you think that you know, we want you to kind of forget about that and to look at things like they're fresh and new, to drop your preconceptions. There's the story of the full teacup that is highly relevant to this. And the idea behind that is there's a master and a student. And the master says to the student, "Tell me about yourself. Why are you here? What do you want to learn from me?" And the student says to the master, "Well, I know about this, and I studied with this person, and I'm really good at this, and I'm not so good at this." And in the meantime, the master is pouring tea into a cup. And as the student is talking, the master just keeps pouring into the cup until the cup is overflowing. And the student says, "What are you doing? The cup is overflowing and it's spilling everywhere." And the master says to the student, "You are like this teacup. You are totally full of ideas. There's no room for me to put anything inside of you because you have too many preconceived notions." So we want to challenge you to think about the preconceived notions that you have already, and how can you empty your teacup so that this program can put some new ideas into it. Here's a great quote from the book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." Think about how that quote can apply to your current context. In addition to all of the great business content that we focus on in the program, we also use the concepts of mindfulness and acceptance to help us navigate through it and to help us to kind of cope with ourselves as we go through that content. Mindfulness is a term, it's also a Zen term, but it basically means awareness of present experience without judgment or with acceptance. And the term acceptance means you will accept that you experience discomfort through growth or through certain situations, but you're not going to let that discomfort stop you from acting on your value system. So if something's really important to you because you value it, you are more committed to the value than you are to the discomfort. So we will, instead of avoid the discomfort or ignoring the discomfort, we will accept the discomfort and understand ourselves as to why we have that discomfort, and we will accept ourselves for that discomfort. Now, that might sound like a pretty foreign or lofty concept, but there's a lot of science going on right now that's substantiating these concepts. And there are several companies that are offering this style of training very much focused in the mindfulness and acceptance world. But they're neuroscientifically proven to be helpful for your brain. And there are major companies throughout the US and throughout the world that are offering this style of training. And these are not like small companies. These are Google, LinkedIn, Ford, NBC, the Federal Reserve, several huge universities. So they're using these kind of ancient Eastern teachings, but they are now proving through magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, that the brain, the pathways in the brain, and certain aspects of your brain can change and strengthen based on the practice that we develop through mindfulness, meditation, and through acceptance. That's called experience-dependent neuroplasticity, and it basically describes the way that your brain can change and strengthen based on experience. So if you experience discomfort in certain ways, and we learn to manage that discomfort, then our brain bulks up in a way that it can be strong enough to kind of counter that discomfort. So you basically can train your mind the same way you train your body through exercise and weightlifting, stretching. So neuroplasticity is a big concept. It's kind of a trendy term right now, but the stuff that we cover in terms of mindfulness and acceptance is neuroscientifically proven to work. And it's funny because in our Western world, we are now so focused on proof, despite centuries and centuries of testimonial evidence that this stuff really does make an impact in terms of your personal sense of joy and fulfillment and satisfaction with your everyday experience. So what we want to focus on is this concept of your journey. You are on a journey. Your career is a journey. Your work experience in a job, or even like one job of many jobs at one company, it's all part of a journey. And we want to help you to understand that you're on a journey, whether you admit it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. So we found these methods to be very helpful in understanding the journey we're on and whether the journey we're on actually aligns with our values and will help us to get to where we want to be in the future. Here's a great quote from C.S. Lewis about that. "We all want progress, but if you're on the wrong road, progress means doing an about turn and walking back to the right road. In that case, the man who turns back soonest is the most progressive." Think about how that quote might apply to your current context. So which road are you on? What is your journey? What does it look like right now? A lot of us are kind of coasting. We wake up, we do the same kind of thing, we go into work, we do what we're expected to do, and then we do it all over again until Friday, and then we take the weekend off, and then we start doing it again on Monday, and we can get into some bad habits, which lead us on a journey kind of to nowhere, maybe to complacency or maybe to stagnation. But it's a very difficult question to answer if you don't have the tools to assess your own insights or your observations about your journey. So pause is loaded with activities and questions to ask yourself to help you to understand where you are on that journey. And here's another quote from Earl Nightingale, who's kind of like this personal development guru in the mid-1900s into the 1980s. I think he died in 1986. He said, "We are at our very best, and we are happiest, when we are fully engaged in work we enjoy, on the journey toward the goal we've established for ourselves." What is the goal you've established for yourself? And what is the journey that you're on to get to that goal? Think about that for a moment. It's really easy to let a day go by, to let a week go by, to let a month go by, to let quarters go by, to let years go by in our careers. And it's really difficult to stop and say, hey, what am I doing? Am I on the right journey? Has this been worthwhile? Is this getting me where I want to go? And that's really like what we're after in pause. This kind of awakening to the reality that you are somewhere, that you have a destination. Because time really is so precious, and we don't want to use that time living in this kind of dream state, kind of drifting from some theoretical point A to some theoretical point B. We have the opportunity to be intentional about what A is and where it is, and what B is and where it is, and whether A and B align with what's important to us. So really, like, what we're going to talk about next is the first day of Module 1. That's really the meat of Module 1. We're going to take a look at ourselves. We're going to take a look at our values and fears, our strengths and weaknesses, our learning style, our style under stress. And we're going to try to understand all of those things. And there's a great quote from Peter Drucker that essentially states, we think we know what we're good at, but really we're not right about that a lot of the time. And then we think we know what we're bad at, and we're even worse at assessing what we're bad at. So if that sounds interesting to you, then take a look at the Module 1 content. And if you're not already signed up for a course, reach out to us for more information. You can email me and Alan at info@kensho.io. Thanks, and I really look forward to meeting you in person if you're enrolled in a course, and I'll see you soon.